Yeah, Merry Christmas if I don't see you before then. But we've got the tinsel on the old plant, Unis, and definitely do need my sunnies. So I'm 4 notches down in darkness because the sun's out, and I'm 5 right, 1 up, so I might be wrong. But yeah, nothing much to report on these ones so far. These ones have got to recover, of course, from either burst strike or plums falling them. So far, these ones are almost matching those ones. So in the space of a few months, they've coming up to what these ones are doing. So yeah, got a new leaf coming out there. That one's still working on that one over there. This one's developing, another one's developing, another one's developing in there. But if you notice, the best one is the one in the centre. So the centre's got basically 50-50 newspaper cellulose and sand. So 50, half the pot in the middle there is sand on the top, and newspaper cellulose down the bottom. So I think no peat. So, and it's matching something that's got newspaper cellulose, peat and sand in it, or that's coir, and this is. It's the peat one. So the peat one working slightly better than the coir now, by the looks of it, just by eye anyway. Yeah, just by eye. So I think it's yeah. Anyway, this one's not as good as we thought it was going to be. So it's still peat's a little bit better. Well, this one seems to be working quite well. Starting to put out. I've got a leaf coming out here, so. A nice chunky leaf, so whether that's going to persist or not, I don't know. So we might end up just doing formulation with or without copper, depending on whether it works or not. Polystyrene to generate reductive flammable gas, and the paraffin candle wax as a carbon source, deoxygenated carbon source. You know, this candle wax stuff, this stuff that's down. This stuff in here, deoxygenated carbon source. It's just carbon and hydrogen long chain moieties basically. It also knocks out the H2S3 action just like aluminium can do, and I think zinc can do it to a certain extent. So anyway, I decided to put this one over here because it was just too hard to water, you know, it was too delicate to water on a regular basis sort of thing, especially if I was going out anywhere or something like that. And I mean, if I end up going to the Stirling Ranges next year, I'll have to I either got to give up growing the plants for a season, or I've got to find a cheap, easy watering system for the plants. So I think I want to really end up just sticking them in water, basically, in a big bath or something, and have it watered either by a tap timer, or someone comes around, I pay someone to come around and just turn on the tap timer, or just turn on the tap to water all the benches or something like that. I don't know, fellas, how it's going to work out. Anyway, we've got this one in here. If I can get out of the sun, a couple of new leaves coming out. Still really pale, you know, sort of. There's no real coloration in the trap. So, but maybe we'll get a surprise out of the copper sort of thing. So we'll see. Out we go. You never know. If we suddenly all the tracks go absolutely vivid red or something, you know, or you know, this sort of callousing we're getting on the side, which is sort of like an orangey red. If we suddenly go cherry magenta red or something, then we'll know the importance of copper sort of thing. If we, as I said, now I've got to be careful what I walk on now. Yeah, well, I reckon one day I'm going to be so excited about one of these pots here that I'm going to actually tread on that thing, I reckon. Okay, let's go to spot colour. If I can see spot colour with my glasses on. Okay, in there you can see you've got the what I think is a callus. 2 of them now, one there and one on this side here sort of thing, as you can probably see. How close I can get, I don't know. And of course we've got growth on this side as well, coming out. So I don't know if we're going to get callousing on this one in here too, I don't know. But we'll see. Okay, this is probably the important one. So 2 to 4 days it should get maybe it must start taking on a waxy look. We'll get this sort of strange green. Never know, could die of course, but and we'll be looking at the trap to see how the traps develop, whether the traps have any colour in it, because it could be a clone that doesn't have any colour, of course. I bought them as shop bought, assuming they're all some one basic line, basically. But yeah, now it's so dark in here. I was expecting to get some sun on him. I think I'm going to have to come out earlier in the morning, sort of thing. Oh well, we've got some sun here to test on this one here. So this one's going to be consistently in the sun for quite a few hours. I can't really move the soil. I can move the pots and the bricks, but I can't really move the soil. Oh well, fellas. Maybe it will develop better in late autumn into winter as the sun returns back to its, as the sun goes. Well, I assume the sun's going to go out very high out there, and through there. It's going to go out there, and yeah. Again, I was on tracking for some reason. I must have just slipped. I go to press spot colour and it goes to tracking or something like that. So as we go into autumn, the sun will go out there in summer and then come back down there, and we'll get consistently shafts of sunlight on that one. That's if it's still alive, of course. But I mean, it's been there for at least 12 hours now. I mean, if it was going to be deadly poisonous, you think first of all it will dehydrate and collapse. But so it's passed that test. It's hasn't collapsed, so yeah, interesting. I think that little tiddly pop one there is going to struggle. But if you notice, it's got this sort of silvery sort of sulfide. Oh yeah, that's definitely. Hang on, look at this one. It's definitely this one's dehydrating, even with the damp sand and everything. So yeah, that's definitely not going to make it, I would suggest. From years of experience, that ain't going to make it. That one's got a chance, and this one's got a chance, but we'll see how we go. But that's about it for... Oh, Jesus, look at that. I ordered that about an hour and a half ago, and it's still... the water hasn't gone. So, yeah, there definitely is a difference in this one. But, as I said, I don't think this one's got the answer in it. I reckon the answers are in those ones. So I don't... these might survive, but I don't think they're going to grow. I'm expecting that one to do something, well, ballistic, if not extraordinary. Yeah, different angle, fellas, you never know, it might be important. So, yeah, how close can I get? But you can see the the green bits are there, you know, from the copper. So you know, I'm not bullshitting you. I mean, you saw the process, and I said it's in that sort of almost luminous, jady sort of green there. So it's in the copper one, as far as we know. I mean, I'm assuming, you know, the idea is, you know, blue copper 2, green copper 1, you know, brown copper 0 sort of thing, to a certain extent. I mean, no. The other thing I wanted to mention is when I was making it up, there were some crystals on the side of the container. I can do this again, I suppose. And when I was making it up, those blue crystals of copper sulfate, they went the green to the copper 1, but the crystal structure didn't. As far as I know, the crystal structure didn't change. So it's changed its valency, but not its crystal structure. I thought that it's definitely something to brag about. I would have thought, you know, X-ray crystallography. So you can actually change the valency of a crystal. See, normally when you make up a crystal for X-ray crystallography, you make up like a green copper 1 crystal, and it will be a different shape to a blue copper 2 crystal. But we've taken a blue copper 2 crystal, and somehow we've reduced all the valency and all the atoms in that crystalline structure, but not changed the actual crystal. So whether the crystal was under great tension, I don't know, but it might be very interesting chemistry, and you never know, even for battery technology, because, you know, if you've got a crystal and all those electrons are, you know, because oxidation is oil rig is a loss and reduction is a gain, which sounds very strange when you think about it. So if I'm going to copper 1, I'm losing electrons, and that says it's an oxidation. I don't think that's quite right, because we know going from blue to green is a reduction, because we're heading towards 0, which is the copper metal, which is it's not its most reduced form, but its most it's got no equivalence of electric. They all cancel out and you get naught. There's no charge on it basically. Anyway, so it might be very interesting from it might be important from a physical electrophysiology perspective on a plant that actually has action potentials. Maybe that's what they can do by having blue copper 2 going down copper in the, somehow the crystal structure can stay the same, but they can actually make use of that the change in valency of the electrons to actually have an action potential. I don't know. I mean, I always think it's strange that they talk about these plants don't like calcium. They always talk about calcium ions and action potentials with these plants in the papers. So I'm thinking, hang on one side you're saying they're living in a calcium-fused environment that's either low to no calcium in the environment, and yet these plants use calcium for their action potential, supposedly. But then again, copper can actually, copper can actually be, if I can get this thing to work, copper can actually be fixed into chalk. So that's the question. Is that why calcium is so terrible? Because it holds the copper in the poisonous, non-useful blue 2, and the plants need it to go green so they can actually make use of the difference in the valency, so they can actually run the action potentials. I don't know. They're all focusing on the calcium in these action potentials, but it's really the copper attached to that calcium. So I suppose we can do experiments like that showing that you can actually attach copper to calcium and do it in solution. You can actually dissolve chalk in solution, but